if my father consented and was present in my marriage, however, I don't recall that he verbalized or proposed to the groom, is the nikah valid? This is a frequently asked question. So let us dissect the problem. Instead of giving you a fish every day, let's teach you how to fish. What is the format of the marriage? It is a pillar of marriage to have Ijab and Qabool, which is proposal from the guardian of the girl or whomever he appoints or authorizes, and acceptance from the groom or whomever he authorizes to be in his place. So it is a must, according to the four schools of thought, that there is Ijab and there is Qabool. The issue is, or the difference of opinion is, whether it has to be done by the guardian or not. The vast majority of scholars and schools of thought say it has to be done by the guardian himself. Only the Hanafi school of thought say that it can be done by the girl herself and not necessarily the guardian. But what this questioner is asking about is a different story altogether. The guardian, the bride, the groom, his father, they go to the registrar, or to whom we call ma'dhun, the one who's responsible in writing the contract. He does not authorize the man or the clerk. He's just present. And the clerk goes and addresses the girl. And he says, do you give yourself in marriage to this man? And she says, yes, I do. And he goes to the boy and says, do you accept marrying this girl? He says, yes, I do. Or the other way around. He proposes on behalf of the girl to the boy and says, do you accept her, Aisha or Khadija or whatever her name is, to be your wife? He says, I do. And he asks the girl and she says, yes, I do. And they sign the papers. Sometimes they don't even say this format. They just have a form where the father writes his name, the bride writes her name, the groom writes his name, and they sign with the two witnesses. Now, this, according to the vast majority of scholars and schools of thought, is invalid. The vast majority. Why? Because marriage is not a game. There has to be a format for it, and the guardian must utter it, must say, I give you my daughter Aisha in marriage. And the boy says, I accept marrying Aisha for myself. Whether to use ankahtuka or zawajtuka, specifically, this is not essential. Whatever people understand would do. But he has to initiate the proposal and the groom has to accept it. Now we come to the $1 million, well, 1 million Kuwaiti dinar question. What about the marriages that took place in the millions in the subcontinent, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, where they follow the Hanafi madhab? Do we go to them and say, all of your marriages are incorrect? Nobody ever said that. Well, Sheikh, you've just said it. I didn't say that. These specific marriages are invalid. I said the technical and the scholarly opinion over such marriages. If we go to these countries, we have a different ruling. Why? Islam is one. True. But according to their beliefs as laymen, according to their following of the school of the Hanafi fiqh, and their belief that this is the prominent and the most authentic, and they follow their own scholars and what they say, we say your marriages are valid. No issues in that. Once a person gets out of that loop and he says, no, I'd like to know what is the most authentic according to Quran and Sunnah, not according to Hanbali fiqh or Shafi'i fiqh or Maliki fiqh. I want to know what pleases Allah. In this case, we'd say to him, well, you have to rectify the marriage, so it would fall into place. Then he says, oh, Sheikh, what about my children? I have 6 of them. They're all born out of wedlock. I said, no. Don't mix apples with oranges. The marriage, when conducted, was valid according to your belief. So your children are legit according to your belief. Now that you know, they're still your children, and they're still born out of a legitimate marriage, but you need to rectify the marriage contract in a very easy way. No need to go to the court or to the municipality or here or there. Ask, who's the girl's guardian today? Her father is dead. Her grandfather is alive, paternal, or her brother, or whoever is closer to her. Just through Skype, make a phone call with 2 witnesses, your brother, her brother, any relatives, any friends, to be present and say, uncle or grandfather or brother, we would like to renew our vows. We would like to go on a second honeymoon, and we would like to have a new marriage contract. So say to me the following words, I give you my sister in marriage, and you say, I accept. Boom, that's it, khalas. No need to renew the contract. Everything is kosher and legit. So I hope this removes the confusion that so many people have about this issue.